everything you own should not be 100% yours. If not, you don't have a brand. Your brand is not influential. You do, yes.
It's everything you do is just on you.
It's not that you don't have an influential brand. If you've not built influence, if nobody is saying, come and do this, I want to give you this, you don't have a brand. No, let me tell you. You are just starting your journey.
Stretch Street Podcast.
Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. How are you today? I hope you're well. We apologize for joining a little bit late. Sorry, we had some technical things to cater to, but we are here, we are back again this week. It's a lovely, beautiful week, and it's should it be? Okay, no, it's not. I was going to say actually, I think it is. It's the final week of May. It's 27th. Happy Children's Day to all the children of the world. You know, I've actually not wished my son Happy Children's Day, right? Because I'm like, is he really a child? I think he's no longer a child. He's gradually becoming an adult. Anyways, welcome to another episode on Your Voice, Your Impact. Let me know if you can hear me. I am here trying to monitor so that I'm sure that, everything is the way we want it to be. All right. So welcome. How is it going on your end? Let us know. If you can hear me, let me know. How is it going at your end? What's going on? It's another beautiful Monday. What is going on at your end? How is it going? For me, it's been a busy Monday so far. And this is the second live I'm coming for. I'm coming to today, right? Earlier on, I had like a behind the scene for my podcast. I had a guest today. We just finished that recording not quite long ago. Okay, so I'm going to bring up my co-host, and we're just going to kick off today's conversation. We're talking about bounce back faster, how to develop a rock solid adversity quotient. Last week we talked about social quotient, like social intelligence, right? Now we're talking about adversity quotient, which is your AQ. All right, Gracie, are you ready? You are coming up. No. Hello.
Hello, beautiful people. Hi. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How is everything going today?
Everything is going on well. By the way, we are bringing back our weekend talk. We have used style to remove it, and
Actually, we didn't remove it. It's just that sometimes. Well, we did remove it,
events.
but I get what you mean.
Let's just say some events just took over, and so I'm bringing it back. It's coming back. Let us be bringing it back.
So, how was the weekend?
No, how was your weekend? That's what I'm asking you. Because let me. You know why I said it would be nice. It's also for us to put the word out there for people that listen to us to be intentional. We talk a lot about being intentional and how, because you'd be accountable for something, you'd want to, move and you want to be intentional about it. So yes, the weekend for me was beautiful. And I would say beautiful because it was another opportunity for me to gather with other women to learn. And you know how it is with me now, learning is living. So for me, it was really eventful because that workshop questioned many things that I used to know. So basically this weekend was more like a sober reflection. There are some things some of these things, but you forget until they hit you, and then you come back to consciousness. Like, what have I been doing about it? So for me, this weekend was eventful. The workshop and meeting other women, networking. What we do on this show by talking about your voice, your impact, is beyond just talking. And I'm sure we'll talk about that later because it's in the doing.
Right.
So as we're talking, we're doing. So I was able to carry what we talk about a lot here to the practical part, and it was eventful. So tell me, what was your weekend like, and how did you enjoy yourself?
So my weekend was good. I was indoors all through. Yeah. Did I go out? Yeah, I didn't go out at all. I was indoors. Well, because on Friday and Saturday, I had moderation duties for a summit, for a virtual summit. So I know I had to be on standby for the evening. So I really didn't um do a lot going out during the day. I think on Friday I went out, in the morning so that I could be back for enough early enough for the event. And yeah, Friday was very interesting because I got to meet somebody new. Now we are in a community together, but she's new in the community and we're meeting for the first time. And it was really beautiful because we spent almost like 3 hours together and it was just like boom, boom, boom. Like we connected on so many grounds and it was just beautiful to see. The weekend, the summit, but I think Sunday for me, which was yesterday, was really, really reflective. I was doing some rearrangement and I was kind of moving my books. And then I stumbled on a lot of journals, like on wild journals. Oh. And so there's that temptation to like just flip through. My goodness. I flipped through some. There was a particular one that stuck with me, which was my early years, when I had my baby. The first couple of months from the time I had my baby. Oof. I was just reading this and I'm like, wow, wow, God. God has been faithful. Like, what? What? I remember one of the ones I read was, the day I was supposed to take my son for circumcision. We got to the hospital and the immediate doctor saw my son. He was like, sorry, you have to go on admission because this baby has jaundice. Eh? And me, at the time, I didn't even know what jaundice was. But for me, what was in my head at that time was, admission. Which money? How am I going to? I started to cry. And that was how I recorded it in my journal. Like, I started to cry. Like, well, I don't think I'm going to go on admission. And the doctor was like, okay, if
Wait,
you're
oh, wait. This journal that you're talking about was the journal you used when you were giving birth, or did my ears?
2007. Yeah, 2007. 2006,
You have the
2007.
journal there.
I had
Ha. Epelema.
17 years. And
Ooh.
the doctor was like, if you're not going to if you're not going to come on this, if you're not going to come on, let's go on admission, whatever happens to your son is on you. And my mom was there, matron was there. So matron was like, both of them started to scold me, both the matron and my mom. Like, what is wrong with you? So and I said, okay, do I have a choice now? That's how we started to do. They took him in under the light. As I read that, I remember the whole experience again. I was 3 days. We're in the hospital for another 3 days, and I was crying because as they put those UV lights on him to take away the jaundice, he was crying. I was crying with him. Then he now finished that session before they now circumcised. Oh God! Oh, just reading that. It's like God has been faithful. So yesterday was really a reflective day for me. Some of the things I journal, some of them I realized that there are I could see some patterns. I could see some consistency. I could also connect some dots. So it's like, this thing we are doing now is meant to be. Like, it's my space. Helping people activate their voice. Anything around voice is my space. Because I could see all the way. Like, it keep repeating itself. Even when I veer off, I will still get back to this place. So for me, it was like, okay. We are getting some things wrong, but there's still a lot of work to do. So it was a reflective weekend for me, honestly. And I'm grateful. But it sparked up something in me, like, okay, you can do this. Yeah.
I love it. I love the story, and I love the fact that part of one thing that I would not undermine is rest. No. Most times when I watch your face when you talk about I didn't really do anything, and I'm like, this babe, no, say that rest is very critical, especially, when you were busy all through the week. So yes, I love it when you include that part of rest into what you do. Yeah, so I think we can just go right into the topic of the day.
Yes, 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 yes. Welcome to today's edition of Your Voice, Your Impact. I see you guys on Instagram, Ultimate T Official, Delphine Uvongwe. Thank you for joining. And I think I see some people on LinkedIn as well. Thank you for joining today. Please be a part of the conversation by typing in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the conversation that we're having today. Today we're talking about AQ, which is your adversity quotient, right? So welcome again. This is the energetic AJ, and of course you've met Grace. What is this AQ we're talking about? I'm sure you have an idea, even from the description of this particular episode, you probably would have an idea of what adversity quotient is, or from knowing what adversity means and what quotient means, bringing it together, it will give you a better understanding of what it is. So it's almost like your adversity quotient is the measure, the measure of which, or your measure of ability to be able to bounce back from tough situation, bounce back from challenging situation, go through it, take it all in, wrestle if you have to wrestle, but coming out better, and I think, for me, that's what it kind of is. That's what it is about. It's about, how well, or how much of adversity, or how much of challenges, how much of a hard time, how much of tough situation can you go through, without breaking completely or giving up. So your ability to be able to go through tough seasons, like if you need to cry, you need to cry. If you need to be angry with the world, you can be angry with the world. If you need to be angry, whatever it is, but your ability to be able to go through all of that and still be able to find your way to a place where you're like, okay, this is what it is. How do we go through this? How do we handle this? I think that's what adversity quotient is. What do you say? What is your own view about it, Grace?
Alrighty, thank you so much. And if you're joining us for the first time, please call your friends, like our page, and I realize we don't do this a lot. We don't let people know that they should. This is very important, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Because sometimes the conversations we have here is geared towards waking up certain things that you already know. Sometimes you get to hear people say, we've heard it now, but until you have that encounter, so to speak, you may not know how important it is. And I'm saying this because of the fact that I work in the mental health space as a therapist. This topic is very relevant to my job. What we see on a day-to-day basis is as a result of low adversity quotient.
Right.
So, what am I saying in essence is that yes, we have the dictionary definition, we have what you can get online and everything, with all those definitions there. But I'm going to say this with I'm going to explain what adversity quotient is, looking at it from a day-to-day, how we live on a day-to-day basis. Now, you have two people. One person goes through hell and they're not able to get back. This is usually my go-to example every time I'm talking about anything that's got to do with mental health, adversity, and all of that. And Mr. B and Mr. A, Mr. A goes through a particular situation, and the feelings, the pain, the challenges, and everything, he feels it, he understands it, he goes through it, and he that's Mr. A. And then Mr. B, same situation, it goes through the same situation. Now, how you know what adversity, how adversity quotient works in a situation like this is Mr. A is able to go through all these processes and, gets back on his feet and be like, okay, life has happened, let's go do something else, or let's get back to work. Mr. B is that person that will be like, I am done for. There is nothing that I can do moving forward. And with that practical example, I've been able to give you an idea of what it means for your AQ to be high. So you'd say Mr. A's AQ, I don't know which one is the A or B now, but you get the drift. The man that was able to get back, to be able to, you would now say that his level of adversity is, the measure of his adversity quotient is higher than the other person that has refused. So, simply put, adversity quotient is how you're able to deal with life's challenges. Hi, hello, Annie from Bimi. Good to have you here. It's how you're able to deal with life challenges. Your degree, the degree of, being able to deal with some of these life challenges without losing your sanity, without losing yourself, and your life in all
In the
of that.
process.
In the process is what adversity quotient is.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Enifome from LinkedIn. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for saying hi. For those of you joining us on Instagram, thank you. 𝐘𝐨𝐿, I see you, sis. Thank you so much for stopping by. Say hi in the comment section. If you have a question or contribution, please feel free to add that in the comment section and be a part of the conversation. To you, when you hear or when you saw the title or when you hear the word adversity quotient, what comes to mind for you? Be a part of this conversation. Tell us, what is adversity quotient to you per your understanding? What do you understand by this concept? And how do you see it playing in real terms, where we are today? So like the example that Gracie gave, it's almost same experience, because all our experiences are never the same, because we don't experience it the same way. But let's say going to almost same experience, like I will use a classic example that we kind of spoke about yesterday. So let's use relationship, right? Whether marriage or courtship, right? Somebody was served breakfast. So two people were served breakfast. Both of them feel the pain. Both of them are crying. Both of them are not eating. Makes me remember this video I posted on my story that I got saying, so you are not eating because you got heartbroken. Did they break your stomach too?
Interesting.
Oh my goodness. Right? So both of them are crying. Both of them are not eating well. Both of them are not sleeping well. But one is thinking, this is the end of me. Nobody is going to love me anymore. Where will I find this kind of love? What's going to happen to me? In fact, that's it. I'm ending it. The other will go through all these emotions, anger, denial, and all of that, until they come to a point where they go through that process of grieving the experience and coming out to say, okay, I have cried. I have gone hungry. I have gotten angry. I have denied that this thing happened. But now I have accepted. It has happened. Let me find food to eat. But what exactly is my role in what happened? The difference between the responses of those two people is adversity quotient. For one person, the adversity quotient is low. For the other person, the adversity quotient is high. All right. So that's just to paint more picture about what adversity quotient is about. Now, going a little bit theory, the whole concept of adversity quotient was developed by somebody called Dr. Paul Stoltz, right? And he, with his own concept, is that there are three components or three parts or three things, three factors that come together, that come together to form the basis of adversity quotient. Number one is control. And that's the belief that, you have the ability to influence your situation, right? So, for example, you lose a job. You say, this is a setback. Oh, well, I can use my skills in this job. At least, okay, fine. This is painful that I've lost this job. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do now? But you're looking at, okay, what do I have? What can I do? What skills do I have? What soft skills do I have? What hard skills do I have? How can I transfer these skills to the next job? So you're thinking solution. But on the other hand, on the other hand, with that control, because again, the job that you lost is not in your control. You're not the owner of the job or whatever, right? It happens. They fired you, or maybe the company closed down or something. So it was out of your control. And the fact that you couldn't control the situation at that moment, like, oh, you couldn't control not losing the job. And this has happened. But then your response is, hey, this job is gone. Where am I going to feed my family? How am I going to do this? And even when you're asking the question, you're not asking to ask like, okay, how am I going to, what do I need to do next? But you're asking based on the past and say, how am I going to survive? It's impossible for me to survive. It's impossible. This economy is so bad. There is no job out there, and you let all of that worry, anxiety, as in get into you in the way that it spirals into anxiety, full-blown depression, and sometimes you thinking of just ending it all right? Control. So that's a component of adversity. When we lose control, it's when a situation is out of our control, sometimes that's when we can gauge where our adversity quotient is. Challenges is another one. This is your view of challenge. So out of control is like you don't have control of it. A challenge, an example would be maybe you are an entrepreneur, because as an entrepreneur, it's like every day is different. Every day is different. So sometimes you see gig or you have jobs to do. Sometimes you don't. Well, I don't know if that's an entrepreneur. Let me use self-employed, because entrepreneurship is bigger than the way we have it in our mind. So let me use self-employed, because with self-employed, that's when you are literally working for yourself. An entrepreneur actually can scale their business to the point where they have people working for them. So let me use self-employed just to be safe, right? So say you're self-employed. Let's say you're a freelancer. Let's use that one, for example. And there are projects here and there. So some days you have projects, some days you don't. Some days the projects are paying well, some days they don't, right? And that's a challenge in its own. So when there are challenges, that's an opportunity for you to gauge your adversity quotient, because you could see the challenge as a stumbling block completely, like there's no road, it's a wall. Or you could see it as a building block, like, okay, there is a stop here, so I need to gauge what am I missing, what do I need to do, who do I need to ask for help, what do I need to learn that I don't know already, that I need to learn to help me climb this next step. And then the third component is commitment, and this is where you are determined, how determined you are to persevere, how determined you are to go through that challenge. Literally, the conversation I just had for my podcast, this dude. And when you see this guy, fresh like today's bread, but when he opened his mouth, wow, start sharing the story, I'm like, what? You've been through all this, right? And he's still the same person. Like, you cannot meet with this person and feel any sense of like despair at all. What you feel is positive vibe. What you feel around him is safe. What you feel around him is confidence. Somebody that has things going for him. That's the feeling you will get when you interact with this person. And I mean, I've been in plenty rooms with him, and the reports of what people consistently say about this guy is almost the same thing. Like, he serves. He's somebody that is committed. He's passionate. Do you see? For this guy, I can literally say. So when we were having that conversation, and I was thinking about our own conversation yesterday, I'm like, this guy is a perfect example of somebody with a high adversity quotient, because that ability to commit to the journey. He was saying, you know what? I don't fear anything anymore. Like, I don't fear challenges. That's what he was saying. Like, I don't fear it. If it comes, I will go through it because I know in going through it, something must drop for me. Is that I learn something, or I must, like, something must work out for me also. I must learn something, something good must come out of it. So he doesn't shy away from challenges now. That is somebody that has increased, their adversity quotient. So I just started to put those to put the theoretical parts in place to say, okay, this is the three components that the person behind the concept of adversity quotient, which is Dr. Paul Stoles, has just said. These are the three components of adversity quotient. Do you have any contribution to that, Coach Grace?
Oh, fantastic. I love the concept. And to think that, some of these things that people put in concept is what we know. Like,
Yeah.
it's what, as a parent, you have seen, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, as an employer, as no matter where you are, as long as you are
Human.
living, human, you would have gone through something that must have
Push you
shook you, or
or
kept you
stretch
in a
you.
place of, or stretched you, and now I love what you said by saying stretch. So there's what we call, in physics, there is what we call the Hooke's law. So for you to know certain properties of some items, there's the stretching ability. You stretch it, you stretch it, you keep stretching it, you keep stretching it, and then when it gets to the breaking point, like, I'm not moving again. I beg, don't stretch me. So that concept, having that in mind, I want to bring that here, because as we were talking, what was just coming to my head was like, well, this guy that shared his story with you, he got to a point where he's now in a place where nothing breaks him, because that breaking point just came. Nothing breaks him because he knows that he can go through it, and that's a beautiful place to be. Now there's this song, and this our conversation is very, very important, and I don't know, I'm going to chip it in again. If you want to do something for someone that you truly love, get them in here
Share
to listen
this.
to this.
Share
This is
this.
just going to be a reminder. Share it. Let them know that you just need a reminder. I know you know it, but just come. Look, there is this song that's very quick. People sing it. I can't keep myself, oh. I can't keep myself, oh. Allow me to
To
enjoy.
rest.
Now,
Oh.
as beautiful as that song is, we might want to be careful, right? So stretching, talking about control, the things you can control, and everything that you just said, I don't think you killed it. So I'm moving away from that bit to some of the things that we are unconsciously programming. I'll always come from the point of a coach, and from the point of all the things, all the tools that we use on this platform, which is coaching, therapy, and all and everything. Now, unconsciously, we will be thinking some of those things, and then we'll just be taking in certain things that when something comes, we would not be able to put ourselves. What am I saying in essence? How do you build your adversity quotient? Now, people avoid issues. People run away from things that will stretch them. There was one time we had this live, and I was like, bring it on, bring it on. And I am looking for people. I practically look for people that have gone through hell, because there's something they know that you will never know. I saw something that Gary Gray, or Gary V, or
Given.
Gary V.
Gary V.
Gary V.
Brenner
He said,
Chuck.
you don't learn how to push up
Hmm.
from a book. You don't learn how to push. You don't learn push-ups from reading. And I'm like, God, this one enter.
Yeah,
In the
you have to
same
push
way,
up to know it.
in the same way, you will never
Mm.
increase your adversity
Adversity
quotient
quotient without going through adversity.
background. That's it. Now, in today's world, people avoid conflicts. People avoid, please, please, please. I can't shout. If it's stressing me out, I'm out. If they're that, I'm out. There's a place for that. Hear me out. There's a place for that. However, even me that I'm talking, I'm there. I'm that kind of a person that, like, but I said this not they stress me too much. Can't
Is
shout.
what? Okay, we'll get
Yeah,
there.
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm,
go
I'm
on.
going somewhere. However, the thing is, it is always good to itemize things. What we don't do consciously is when we're going through certain things, we don't itemize. Some people just go itemize and see some of these things and put it out there, and they would say that this is the concept, this is the 3, this is the 4, this is the 5th. But we don't even know that we're daily doing some of these things.
Doing
Now, let
those
me give you
things.
an example. The number one thing, okay, and I'll let you know about mathematics. You know how they would say mathematics, I don't know them, I don't want to know them, I know they do. Here is the science behind mathematics. Mathematics, the concept of mathematics is problem solving. It is going to force your brain to there's not to pursue, find X, what am I looking for X? What's my business with X? What that means is, in the future, some things there'll be that would come up in form of a challenge. So in some of the problems that we get to struggle with in the theoretical part, what we're calling maths, science, and all of that, is building now in the mind the critical thinking part of us and the problem solving part of us. So the beautiful part of adversity quotient, when you're increasing it, the side effects, which is the good part, is you have improved the muscles of your problem solving skills.
Right.
Now, practical example is, I used to be an orobo, really big. Yeah, and listen, you see all things online that don't body shame, but look, when I was in that state, I wasn't well. I couldn't move. So let's just stop saying that. Who is saying body positivity? Who said that it is when you are slim that you're healthy? That's not the point, because we need to start dropping some of these comments, because somebody will take that. I read something recently online, and they said that they've been talking about it's when you are big that you are. Who is saying that it's media that is dropping it to make it look like when you are big, when you are slim, that you are healthy and all that. So they are beginning to create a concept around it that they
Slim.
shouldn't say it. Yes, that slim is the hair. While I understand that bit, I'm speaking for myself, and I'm talking about my story. When I was overweight, I was sick. I was not healthy. I couldn't move from here to there. Now, I was able to go through the process of working out, doing all those things, and then I'm here today. I'm happy, I'm healthier, and I'm good. Now, when I am adding weight and I'm looking like, I'm beginning to add weight, the next thing is, Grace, what can you do to take this back? So what adversity quotient does for you is to give you hands-on tools to use when you're faced with similar challenges or even something different. Yeah, so I'm sure we're going to talk about some of the things that we can do consciously to help us build our adversity quotient. Let me wrap up by saying that some people will tell you that, look, I'm wealthy. I'm from a very well-to-do home. When it comes to money, there is no problem. I don't need to stress myself. Now, some issues that would come may not even be money. It might be health. Life will just throw it. Now, it is now, if you've not built your adversity quotient to a point where you're able to handle certain things, it is now ordinary headache that can now, that's why you now hear that, they say now only headache, now only leg pain now. Because the body doesn't understand stress. The body doesn't, so it becomes an alarm everywhere. Headache. So that's on a deeper level. So sometimes we should even allow ourselves to go through that. There's some people that They don't even come under the sun. They say, no, why should I come outside? No, it's from one AC car to the office to this. That's why when it's small thing that just happens to them like this, all the system, blah, 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 you understand? So I have to put that one there because they'll say, mentality, this adversity mentality. Why should I suffer? Why should I struggle?
I was coming there. I was coming there before we go to how.
I'll just
Yes.
there's something I need to do. So you can just keep talking. I'll join you in a bit.
Oh, okay. I was coming there. I hope you can hear me because I want to throw the question at you. I was coming there to say. I was coming there to say that with the concept of adversity, like I beg, must we suffer? But at the same time, it's like, how do you draw the line between having that adversity quotient and the martyr syndrome, right? Like practicing or growing or maintaining your adversity quotient versus martyr syndrome. And you would ask, okay, what is martyr syndrome? I learned this from her name is Amma Manson. She's a speaker. She has a large community on Facebook. She's Ghanaian, but she's based here in the UAE. She's an amazing, she's a content creator, basically. And I think we're recording a podcast one time when she mentioned this thing, and since then it has stuck with me. This is about 2 years ago. And the martyr syndrome is when when people enjoy to suffer. That's the simplest way to put it. So basically, they enjoy to suffer, or they feel like there's a pride. You know how we say there is dignity in labor, right? Because you have to put your hands to work and everything. That's how people who have the martyr syndrome, that's how they take that on. It's almost like there's dignity in suffering. So, for example, the people who have martyr syndrome would be say a mom, for example, a mom with teenagers, right? A mom with teenagers. Your kids are already teenagers. By the way, from age 5, 6, you should at least start, ideally, at least start training these kids to do things for themselves. But say a mom with teenagers, and they still find themselves doing almost everything in the house, like all the chores, because they just feel like there's dignity in that, carrying or suffering for somebody. And it's the same syndrome where people will say, let me just suffer with you. Then after years, when the person did not have to ask you to suffer with me, but you suffer with me, Abby. When they now say after all my sacrifices, did I ask you to sacrifice, right? So that's the martyr syndrome. So I wanted to ask, where do you draw the line between operating the martyr syndrome versus just maintaining your adversity quotient?
I love this question. Goodness, you know why I love it? Because I remember I grew up in a house where we had people, people did stuff for us. Well, we middle children, and towards the end, we had, I didn't wash my clothes myself while I was growing up. They would wash for me, but it got to a point where my elder sister, one time when we're now growing up, she was not like, oh yeah, Joe, bring those tiny hands of yours and start washing, right? It didn't make sense at the time. And I want to start from something this basic. Somebody will tell you that, look, you can get washing machine. Now, it isn't the washing of the clothes. The brain doesn't understand that it's a task. You're finishing a task. Now, it's how you define it. It's the definition you give to it. What is suffering and what is the need for you? Now, example, you must study whether your father is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to become a doctor, to do things on patients. You must burn the midnight candle. You must read. There are there are things that you must do, whether you like it or not. Now, where do you draw the line between suffering and you? So you can now put yourself in that category of this one. No, this one is suffering. Let me give a practical example. The most important thing is, what's the goal? The goal will give you an idea if you're just suffering. Now, there is a case of wanting to work smart. There's working hard and working smart. What's this? Now, it's so easy. We talked about I was on yesterday with a co-host, another person, and we talked about AI. AI is beautiful. AI will make the work easy. Now, I have a course I want to do. It is easier for me to tell AI to do the course for me. Just go ahead, blah, 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 blah. Now, if another person is doing the course himself or herself, and, you know, the goal is to really get into the program, to break it down, using the muscles of their brains to understand the concept, to break it down. Another person looking at it, why are you suffering yourself when you can just use AI to do it? The goal for the person is not just to create the course. The goal for the person is to embody it, know it, so that when you're called upon later, you anytime, any day, you can deliver. You understand it, you have stretched your brain muscles, you have created new neural pathways for yourself in such a way that you now understand the course. Your brain has accepted it, your brain has done the work. Mr. Somebody there will say, that one, just suffer yourself, you suffer yourself. Hell no, please. It's not. You are embodying the concept. Such people, when two of them come out, the person, now this is not to say you don't use AI. AI is a very wonderful tool, easy peasy, you can get work done. However, do not dismiss the fact that while you're doing that, while you are allowing AI to simplify the process for you, you also have to allow your brain, to put in some work, because the brain needs something to work with. The brain needs to be active. The brain gets bored when there's nothing for it to do. So now, where do you draw the line when it comes to suffering and adversity quotient? Is what's the goal? What's the achievement? Why do I stress myself? For me now, I when it comes to when I like to use exercise a lot because it's very practical. I know when I'm suffering myself. This one I suffer. When I'm doing fat diets, I'm not eating. I'm suffering myself. My body needs the energy. You can tell. You don't need to go to Harvard to know some of these things that will let you know that this one, no, you're suffering yourself. Now, a child, let me give you a classic example. I was working with someone and the person couldn't do something. It was a little task, a physical task. A young growing boy, he couldn't do it. And I'm like, did you play? What did you do for fun? What were the physical activities you did while growing up? I mean, you're still young, but I'm running faster than you. I'm older than you. I'm more active than you. And you're in the age that you should be. Now, listen,
very
this is
energetic.
What they say, Adebota. No, I play only video games. I don't do, I do video games. That's what I play. There's a part for that. That's good. And then I said, okay, can you, there were some questions I kept asking. No, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. Now to the parents so cooking now. Maybe I'll shut up with this one. Now, when the Ajebotas, they'll say, okay, this one is just talking. Maybe never see money. That's how they talk. Let me give you a classic. When you don't teach your children how to even make tea or do this or do something emergency food and everything, and then you rely that once the money is there, they can always get somebody to do. That's fine. That's beautiful. But you would be found somewhere. I mean, if you're progressive and if you're going to grow, there are places that you go to. Like, for instance, if you are a student, you go abroad. There are certain things that you would need to be able to do. You should be hands-on, that you should be able to even do for yourself. That you will not need, you will not be able to, even if you want to hire, even if you just pizza away, you get pizza away and all of that. Sometimes it might not, will you now die of hunger because you're an ajebota, you cannot make tea for yourself, or you cannot do. So the period where the logistics company, so you won't be able to, for me, I used to say that there are certain things that, money can help you do. Money cannot help you, cannot help you walk. Money will not carry your leg and be working for you. You have to carry your leg, except you want to be confined to a wheelchair. Even at that, the people, you see people that are on their people that are not able to walk, that are on wheelchairs, they hate themselves because they're not able, no movement. Most of them, you see them, they are obese, except they are doing something about it. So whichever way you look at it, you can tell when you're suffering, when this one is just, you want to just suffer yourself. You just want to suffer yourself. And then when, while you're doing this, let me give you the last one.
Goal.
The last one. Gen Z now. I interviewed someone, and we hired the person, and I asked her that, at what point would you feel pressured? She said, no, I will not feel pressured. And when we gave her one small task,
you think it's joke. You think it's joke when people in the past used to say, I can work under pressure. If it's not necessary,
it will get to that point. Now, again, this are the better thing that we're talking about, that you don't allow your children to even do their homework themselves. You want to help them do the homework. So when they are doing the exam, you will be inside there doing the homework with them. Because eventually the homework that you helped them do is what will come out in the exam.
In the exams.
So there are certain things they would have to do themselves,
right,
that eventually would be handy for them. And let me that Gen Z person said, please, I can't kill myself. I'm not doing again. Resign. If you know how the number of Gen Zs are resigning from their jobs 1 month, to them they are suffering.
But meanwhile, it's just lack of discipline.
Yes. The side effect of all of this, the mental health issues that we would have in the coming years. And this is not me predicting evil. Doom. It is doom. It is what it is. It is certainly going to happen. That because people are the adversity quotient, or their AQ is reducing, their ability. So you can, I would even allow you to talk about the story that we read, recently. Let's start from there. Can you share the story for some people that don't know what?
Absolutely. I love how where you are with that conversation, to say that, the repercussion, the consequences of not. Hello, Pitamba. Thank you for joining. The consequences of not increasing your adversity quotient is huge. It's huge, and especially in this time and climate, because they're just simple things. Like, simple things, like, just even use as simple things. Because now there are scooters, there are bicycles, there's bike, there's car, and everything. Some people cannot even do 100-meter walk. They're already panting. Why? You can't take a flight of stairs, like even in your own apartment, duplex, ordinary duplex, just go upstairs and come back. You're already panting. Like simple things like that, right? So now there is a story, a heartbreaking one, that happened recently in Nigeria. And it kind of fits into the story, into the topic we're talking about today, talking about the consequences, which is the consequences of not building your adversity quotient. Is it will result in some mental health issues, that could have been avoided. Because what is mental health is, it's almost building capacity to be able to withstand challenging um situations, right? But not everybody is able to withstand challenging it. Some people just tell them one thing, some people just tell them one thing, and then is it that they will cry, 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 like your boss is just giving you feedback. It's just feedback, for crying out loud. It's not about you. Nobody is cursing you. Nobody is. He's just giving you feedback. Like, how can you do that document like that? Is that how to format it? You already say, oh my god, it's so toxic. I have a toxic boss. No. You see, you would not develop mental toughness. And see, life is not fair. It is what it is. 100,000 years that the life has been life that we know it is not fair. So life is going to throw you things that you will be like, did I offend somebody? Like, no, maybe I offended somebody in heaven. They now brought me to earth to come and collect the punishment because I don't know why. I don't know why I'm having to go from one challenge to the other as if they are passing me one life threat center. And I'm going to plug it in here for faith people, Bible believing people, right? For us, we have plenty references to help you know that, see, life will not send you. Life does not send you. Life is going to show you shege and banza. Meaning, for those who are not speaking English, pidgin, Nigerian pidgin, life is going to give you goals. Life is going to squeeze you. As a follower, as a Christian, there's a place even Jesus himself said, see, in the world, you will do what? You will encounter tribulation. Do you know what tribulation is? Tribulation is such an experience that Uncle Job had in the Bible, where in one day, can you imagine that? That cannot happen now, and the person will survive. Well, unless the person has built their adversity quotient. In one day, he lost every single thing he had, including all his 7 children, adults, not kids, not infants, not babies. 7 children that he's been praying for day and night. All of them went just like that. Do you see? So again, it's that when you don't work on this adversity quotient, it is going to reduce your mental toughness, and it's going to result in mental breakdown and all of these things. So the story I was talking about, just of recent, I saw a post on Instagram, a very sad one, of a young girl, a young university student, and I think this person is probably in her 3rd or 4th year, and they just found out that she committed suicide, right? And she sent and so the mother took her across to the school to like dump, like, you people see what you did to my daughter. Why? Because the story goes that there was a particular lecturer that continually failed her in his course. And I heard one or two of the voice notes that she was sending to a friend of hers, where she was frustrated and just angry, like, what is this, why, of all the lecturers, like, only you, every time you just be failing me, since 200 level, now 300, and you're still. So she was just ranting. It's like, me, I will leave this school for you, I will leave everything for you. And that is it. But the truth is, if with a high level of adversity quotient, hopefully, I'm not saying this is exactly what happens, but I'm just saying, like, in that kind of situation, somebody with a high level of adversity quotient would, yes, feel the pain, would, yes, rant, would, yes, be angry and everything, but they would also think about the solution first. I'm sure there are bodies to report to. You can, again, you can leverage social media to just escalate the matter and things like that. But there are options. But because of that lack of adversity quotient, this person is just, just gave it all up. So what we're just saying in a nutshell is that, as much as, working easy, working smart, leveraging tools and everything, do not neglect your adversity quotient, and don't mistake it for suffering. It is not suffering, especially when you define the goal at hand that you want to work on. So you burning the night candle is not suffering. It is you strengthening yourself to get the end goal, to the result. You practicing delayed gratification is not suffering. It is you saying, okay, I know that the result is there, but I'm not going to focus on the result. I want to focus on the process. It is not suffering, okay? You complaining all the time, like you receiving taking knife with what life served you, and that's in how we say it in the parlance. You turning lemons into lemonades is not suffering. It is you training your mind to saying that I can do all things, I can face any situation, there is always a way out. It is you like increasing your growth mindset. All right, so this is our message for you today. Okay, so I hope that it's been helpful. I hope that it has made sense for you. You can come back to this video and watch the replay so that you can capture some of the things we said. And if you do have questions, comments, and whatever it is, contribution, please leave them in the comment section and we're going to get back to you. Before we round off this session today, we're happy to announce to you that this is the last week of May. And so we're super excited because come June, we will be 1 year old. Woo! Guys, ladies and gentlemen, we've been showing up every Monday for the last 1 year. Come on now. If you don't clap for us, we will clap for ourselves. If you don't pat us in the back, we're like, come on now. We did well. We did good. So in celebration, in the spirit of celebration, we want to transfer this tenacity to you. But what we want to do for you is we want to help you launch out on a particular project or idea that you've carried for a while, and you're just saying, hey, when is the right time? Can I do this? Come, let us do it with you. Let us hold you. Let us support you. Let us help you do it. And so we are having to celebrate our 1 year anniversary. We are putting together a masterclass. Okay, it is called Launch Your Voice for Impact. Somebody say amen. Launch your voice for impact. Okay, so you want to be a part of that. So I'm going to leave the link for LinkedIn and YouTube. We can leave the link in the comments or in the description. All right, but for those of you on Instagram, just send me a message to say you want to be a part of that masterclass. Of course, it is paid, but it's a stipend, and we're running from now to the 10th of June. We are running early bird. So if you jump on right now, it's only $15 for early bird, or 15,000 naira if you're in Nigeria. And from 10th of June till the 19th, our anniversary is on the 19th of June, it's going to go back up to 20,000 naira. So if you want to be a part of that, then just send me a DM if you're on Instagram to be a part of that. On LinkedIn, I will leave the link to register in the comments, and on YouTube, I will add it to the description of the video. Yes, Grace, over to you. I'm just going to quickly see if I can share the image of the flyer, and then but go ahead, please.
All righty, you heard her. We are one. And the most important thing is, if you're able to do something consistently for a while, then you have been able to build your adversity quotient. Ta-da! See how I did it? And it's very simple, because it is very easy for you to give up, when you start something and then you like, you know what, this thing is not for me. We were there at some point. We had to juggle. We had to move from one point to the other. Right now, we have sort of mastered the art of it, and we're doing it unafraid. So here is what I would say to you. This is a gift. For $15, it is a gift when you compare it with what you're going to be having. So this is just to let you know, if you have an idea, and where you're sitting down now, this idea was like 10 years ago. 10 years has gone past. After 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, and this your idea is still in the idea state. Come on now. You don't want it to be there for too long, because you know what? It will choke you. Sometimes the reason why you're even ill, the reason why you're sick, is because there's something pregnant inside of you that we are going to use to give birth to. So if this is you I'm talking to, it is an opportunity for you to grab this this is a lifetime opportunity that will change the trajectory of your life. What we're going to be doing will be phenomenal. So no much talk, just that you have to click, and let's get started.
Absolutely, absolutely. Join us in this celebration. 1 year is not beans, and we are going to celebrate it. And we want to make an impact with it because, see, at the end of the day, go, come, jump up, down, everything. Here is what we are here to do, to lend our voices to impact lives positively. I want to help you do the same by also lending your voice, by launching that voice of yours in whatever capacity it is, whether you're writing, you're singing, you want to speak as well, you want to create a certain kind of content or something, whatever that project is, we're going to step into that place, into that master class with our hearts, coaches, therapists, to help you get to the bottom of why you have hesitated for so long, but also leave you with the ability to do something. I say you are not leaving that session without having to launch that stuff. All right. So be a part of it, and we're happy. So we're going to be talking about it more as the day goes by and as we count down to June the 19th, 2024. God bless you. See you next week.
Monday.
Bye.
Bye.